Welcome to the Great Minds Podcast. This is Derrick.
This is Vaughn.
And we're here with Coach Corey Lowery. What's good, brother?
How you doing?
Appreciate you.
Absolutely. I know we spoke a while ago, and, we definitely want to have you on. And we like to do a little bit of everything on our show. And, you're one of the first coaches that came to my mind, of course. I respect you as a coach, as a man, and everything. So pleasure to have you on.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right. So I want to do a brief introduction to those of you who do not know Coach Corey Lowery. He is the head coach at Lincoln University men's basketball, former assistant at St. Peter's, working with Shaheen Holloway there, head coach at Essex County, Middlesex County, Hillside High School. I could be missing something. Former principal, great dad, and ultimately just a stand-up guy. So we appreciate having him here today.
Definitely.
Thank you.
All right. So Corey, I guess we're looking for a little bit of your background for people that don't know you, like where you grew up, how'd you get into basketball and everything.
Right. I was originally, born in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Moved to Piscataway. I grew up in Piscataway. Piscataway is a great sports town in New Jersey.
Definitely.
Football, basketball, track, girls basketball, girls track, soccer. It's just a great sports town. So, growing up in Piscataway, it's almost like you had to play sports. So played Piscataway High School. Then I went on to Rutgers Newark. Played there at Rutgers. And then after I graduated, I immediately got right into coaching. Got my first job at 23 years old, in Hillside. I was a fifth grade teacher, and I was the freshman basketball coach and the assistant varsity coach. So right away, got right into it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No doubt. So Corey, when you started playing sports, did you play multiple sports like football, baseball, basketball, and then just focus on basketball, or was it kind of like basketball from the start?
No, well, I played all sports. I played football. I was a quarterback in football. I played basketball. I played baseball. I ran track. But I knew that I loved basketball. So I spent more time developing in basketball. And I actually stopped playing football after my junior year. My senior year, that's when I totally focused on just basketball, because that's what I wanted to play in college. But growing up, man, it's like you had to be an athlete back in the day. You had to play everything.
Fact.
And with my father was coaching, recreation basketball, Pop Warner football, Little League baseball. So he was coaching everything. So, how do you keep boys out of trouble? Keep them busy.
And sports, absolutely.
Yep.
We'll probably get into it later, but I was going to ask you about that. As you see a lot of the college athletes now, a lot of kids now, it seems like they're focused on one sport. And they might be playing, say, basketball from 8th grade up, AAU, all year long. And I think it's better when kids are playing multiple sports because they think it helps them out in the long run. But we'll get into that later. But it's kind of what.
Yeah, you get that. And then if you're playing basketball, you work in basketball muscles all year.
Yeah.
And some young bodies aren't prepared for that. But again, we'll circle back later.
Absolutely.
What got you into coaching initially?
I think just the love of the game. I didn't want to stop. I just didn't want to stop. And, growing up, you were always a student athlete. You always did both. So kind of when I was done with college, it was like, I can't be done being the athlete also. So getting into education, that kind of gave me the opportunity to continue, to participate in the sport that I love.
Fact.
Definitely. And I can see by the position that you play, I assume you play point guard. Mm-hmm. And I see that you played quarterback. Mm-hmm. So to me, those are key positions that it seems like you're the quarterback, you're the coach on the field, you're the coach on the court. There's only a natural trajectory that you will go into coaching,
Yeah, leadership and communication, man. Like both those positions, you got to communicate with people. You got to get people to follow you, and you got to be able to motivate people.
Absolutely.
So I think that's kind of the avenue that I was, ready made for.
All right, so you coached on different levels. You coach on the high school level. You coach JUCO level, which isn't quite the same as a normal traditional 4-year school. How would you explain the difference in the levels?
Well, once you get to that college level, in high school, depending on the high school that you go to, not everybody's going to go to college and play at that level.
Right.
So even at the junior college level. So those guys that were at the junior college level, those guys were the man on their high school team. Mm-hmm. Right. So a lot of them had some academic issues, so that's why they went junior college. But a lot of those guys that we coached, at Middlesex and Essex County, they were Division I, Division II guys.
Yep.
So that path of playing on that college level, it's just another level. It's like being in high school. It's like being picked for the All-Star game. Every game's the All-Star game at the college level.
Right.
So it is another level of basketball. And those high school guys, even when they come to the college level, they see right away that you're playing against men, basically. Yep. You're playing against men, so physically you have to be ready. Your skill set has to be ready. Now everyone is just as good or better than you. So now it becomes, how much do you really love the game? Because you got to put so much more effort and so much more time into developing, your craft at that level. So it is a major difference.
Right. Let me just say one more thing. On those levels and just in general, what's the most difficult type of kid to coach?
I think not that it's to me, I didn't really have too many of those most difficult kids, because it was really about getting them to sacrifice their game for the greater good. So I might have recruited 6 or 7 guys that maybe average between 16 to 20 points a game. Now, you're not going to have 7 guys average 20.
It's just not going to happen.
You got to get them to buy into winning. What's more important? So the philosophy that I kind of have, that any given night, any one of you guys that are capable of scoring 20, it could be your night, but I'm taking the pressure off you where you don't have to score 20 points consistently every night, because we got 6 or 7 guys that can do that.
Yeah, we might need 8 from you, or 12, or
right.
Whatever the case is.
But I might need you to take a charge. I might need you to get 6 extra rebounds. I might need you to get some other assists. So it's about really developing their game totally, to be an efficient basketball player and to play within the confines of other high level players. A lot of kids can't play in the confines of other high level players because they want to be the man.
Right.
So I think that's the most difficult part, but winning feels better than losing. So once they keep winning and winning and winning, they're willing to sacrifice some of those things.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's basically like checking your ego at the door, like very good at the team. And also, I remember being younger, being in high school and telling people, like, when you go to college, it depends on the school you pick, because a lot of times people think that, oh, so-and-so went to this school and, oh, he's not getting any minutes or any points. It's a system. You might not know the system. So a lot of people don't know that. I think a lot of kids don't know that when they pick a school. They might go, let me go to, say, like a high D1. Let me go to North Carolina, right? But you got all these All-Americans there. Maybe if you went to a lower D1, you get a chance to shine more.
It's also the philosophy of the coach.
Yeah.
You might score 25 points a game, but you come play for me, you better play some defense. Now you're not getting on the court because you can't play defense. So if we get those 25 points, we want to shut teams down. So kids got to know the personality. What does that program reflect? And if you're not a defensive player, don't go to that school that preaches defense. If you're a Princeton offense guy, don't go to that school because they want to run constantly. So kids have to really do their research and find the right match for their style of play.
I was also going to ask, throughout your career so far, and I know it's still going, but can you think of like your toughest recruiting project or player that is toughest to get? And then also on top of that, once you receive that player, how did they make you feel as far as to see them progress in their career, to help them build? You go into that?
I think that the toughest. Well, I'll start with Essex. Some of the things that I ran into at Essex, we had a lot of quality players that we wanted to pick from, but the success that we had, it was harder to kind of pinpoint the type of kids that we wanted. So there were kids that we felt were good, but you got to have that kind of that North toughness about you to come into this area, to come into that environment. So we also ran into, negative recruiting because we were winning so much. So we started winning. So other coaches would say, well, you know what? You don't want to go there because they have too many guys there. You're not going to play there.
Right.
You know, so people started to negative recruit our positiveness.
Wow.
You know, so it started getting a little bit difficult trying to pinpoint and find the right kids. But what I can say is, especially at Essex, the kids that we pinpointed, they had that Newark toughness, that Essex County, that brand that we built. You know, so it got to a point where, you know, those type of kids were being attracted to us, and then we would really evaluate them, and then we would go with some of those kids. And then you had to kind of be creative because, again, like you can't pick a bunch. Also, we had to start to find some role players, you know, especially when, you know, we're trying to win national championships. You know, you got to have those right role players to fit in to kind of get you over the hump. It's not all the time it's the 25-point scores. It's that guy that's blocking shots, taking charges, that guy that's talking on defense, that guy that has that energy, you know. And so we started finding those guys, and those guys started having big moments for us.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. A kid, Denzel from Plainfield. Now, this kid was about 6'5", 6'6", 190 pounds. He was just a Plainfield tough kid. And it took him a minute during the regular season. He wasn't getting the time that he really wanted, but he stuck with it. And he had his biggest games in the Elite Eight in the final 4 games of the national tournament, because it was just about your body's tired, you're physically worn down from a long season, but he just had that inner playing field toughness where he wasn't giving up. And, you know, he helped us get to the national championship.
Yeah.
You know?
And back to your point, finding those grit guys, like who's gonna be Patrick Beverly? Like who's gonna be that dog that's not gonna say, oh, this person is number 1 in the country, or, you know, whatever, and always play regardless if it's 100 people or 1,000 people in the gym.
Right.
So a part I want to highlight about you, like the thing, and I was frustrated from a distance for you, putting in for jobs. All you do is win. I mean, Corey Lowery wins basketball games, and that's it, you know. So explain. I want you to explain your coaching journey, because you just didn't pop up at Lincoln University with the job. I want you to explain that, and also, like, why do you think you were denied certain opportunities? I could think of a couple of schools in mind, but I'm not gonna go there. And their programs are struggling, but that's neither here nor there. But explain your coaching journey a little bit, and why do you think you were denied certain opportunities?
Well, again, like I said, the journey started fresh out of high school, and I would not take my journey the way that it's gone. That's been God's plan, because I think ultimately it has prepared me. So I started coaching freshmen. Then I after my 3rd year coaching freshmen, I got my shot right away as being a varsity head coach. Now that's hard to do. So at 27 years old,
right,
you know, I was a head coach, one of the youngest head coaches in the state. You know, coached there for 4 years. We got Hillside, which was a Group 2 team, to number 10 in the state. You know, got to top 4 in the county. Lost to St. Pat's 1 year, which I'm still mad about that, because I thought that we should have beat them. But then from there, I also transitioned to being a head coach and an administrator as well. So I progressed, and again, those are leadership positions: head coach, point guard, quarterback, vice principal. Those are all leadership positions. So I started excelling that as well. But in Hillside, what kind of got me to the junior college ranks is that at that time that my superintendent wanted me to focus on becoming a principal. But I still wanted to do both. So I kind of let him know that. Then I went into the junior college ranks. Went to Middlesex. I was there for 4 years. And first year we won a championship that, you know, I took over a team that won 2 games. My first year we went 25-3. You know, we got to the national tournament there as well. So I was there 4 years. I actually put in for the Kane University job during my time at Middlesex.
That's what I was talking about. And I was gonna let you say. I had this conversation with Vaughn a couple nights ago. But go ahead.
So I actually got an offer from Kane after Middlesex, but how the offer was kind of presented to me, I didn't think that they really wanted to negotiate, or it was like, here's an offer, take it or leave it. and I didn't feel comfortable with that situation. So I didn't take the Kane job. Consequently, the following year, I got Essex County College. Essex County College, we really took off. Top 5 team in the country, year in, year out. I was there for 6 years. And within those 6 years, I put in for a lot of jobs. I had a mentor in Melvin Knight, who was the athletic director at the time, who encouraged me to put in for those jobs because he saw something in me. But I put in for those jobs, Division II jobs, Division III jobs, Division I assistant jobs, and I just wasn't getting any type of love. I think I had maybe 2 interviews the whole time that I was at Essex, and really didn't get past the phone interview.
Which is really crazy. And I see it on all levels, NBA levels. They just recycle coaches. Like how many times in the NBA are you going to watch this guy win 37 games, 32 games? He mix it in with a playoff run. Like, give the new guy a shot that's been winning and been successful.
We know what it is. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
But that's always just crazy to me. Like, you watch these guys get stints here for 3 years. They go on like, why are you giving this guy a job again?
Right.
Like, we've seen him win 37 games 10 times already.
Right.
But all right, I digress.
But yeah, and but sometimes those things happen. So I got a break when Shaheen Holloway got the head coach job at St. Peter's, and immediately I reached out to Shaheen, and he reached back out to me, and said that he was watching me from afar, and we had a relationship because he's close with Mr. Knight as well, Brandon Knight, who is the assistant coach at Rutgers. They're very close. So kind of within that circle, each other.
Right.
And then also I was the vice principal for Shaheen's daughter in Hillside. So, you see how God connects the dots. So God got a plan.
Real.
Absolutely.
So when he got the job, I reached out to him. We sat down, we talked, and, he invited me on his staff. And, I learned a lot from Shaheen. He's very fiery. He's very passionate about the game. I thought I was passionate about the game. And he take passion to another level.
Right.
And it was good for me to see that because he helped me take my energy to another level. I saw someone else that I almost said, man, there's someone out there that might be working harder than me. So I think that in all actually, like I think God wanted me to see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Me to see a different level of work, a different level of preparation. And that really helped me further my knowledge, and it made me more passionate and more hungry about trying to get better. So, and in 2 short years, man, I mean, we were on the verge of doing something very, very special at St. Peter's, before this COVID hit.
Right.
We were in a regular season conference, we finished 1 game out of first place. We were going on to the semifinals of the MAC tournament. We beat Iona for the 3rd time, who was the 4-time reigning champs in the MAC. So we did something very special, but I got the chance to not be in that head chair and see another head coach work hard to bring a team that was at the bottom of the conference to bring them up to the top.
Immediately.
And me and Shaheen still have a close relationship. We speak all the time. Whether he's texting me something that's inspirational, like he still does it right now. He's texting me something that's inspirational. He'll text me something, hey, read this. We'll have talks about those things. And just having another person that's in your corner that wants you to be the best that you can be, and someone that can push you, it has really helped my career. So I say that to say all those jobs that I put in for, and I probably put in for over 200 jobs.
Wow.
Over 200 jobs, and maybe had 4 or 5 interviews, But I say that to say God will prepare you in different ways. When it's your time, he's going to put you in a situation where, this is for you. And now I'm at Lincoln, and I feel like it's the perfect opportunity. I got a good group of guys that's returning, a good group of guys that we brought in. I got an abundance of more knowledge that I have now, that I'm really to showcase. And now I have the work ethic that I thought that I had at Essex that was at a high level. Now I think it's going to be at another level because of what I saw my 2 years at St. Peter's.
Wow.
Definitely. Because I know what I like to say, and I've been telling Derrick about this in general, and you always know, we see it in the professional ranks, we see it in the collegiate ranks, high school ranks. I always say it's who you know, it's not what you know. And it seems like, especially when you're African American and anything, it's about who you know than what you know. So I think that, you know, as much as we go forward, when we're trying to do something, we have to be extra.
You gotta be
way better. And we gotta like jump over crazy hoops that's like others aren't doing. You know, you're seeing it like Derrick said. Well, you're a 500 coach. You have someone here that's winning championships. Why not give the new guy the chance? And I think we have to work hard. But I'm glad it all works out, because I think also what's meant for you will be, and that's why you're where you're at, though. So I think everything you went through is making you stronger, and you're gonna be a great coach regardless. You know, you already was, but now you're just gonna, you know, show improve now.
And you know what? A lot of coaches, like if you really, really want to coach, you can't give up, because you got to believe that your time is going to come. And a lot of coaches that have gone through some of the things that I've gone through by not getting that shot, they gave up. They gave up. And I just kept in my mind that my time is going to come. My time's going to come out. And believe me, I was very frustrated. Like, man, why? This guy got the job, and why did this guy? And, you know, I got away from just stop questioning that. And every year I got rejected, I prepared more. I prepared more. And then it got to the point where I was like, listen, I got so much knowledge now, there ain't no way I'm going to quit now, because I got to see if this is going to work or not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Word.
You can't give up. You can't, and you just got to believe that your time is going to come. And it's easy to do when you love something. It's hard to give up something that you love.
Yeah.
It's very hard to give up something you love. So you just have to keep going.
Definitely.
What were some of the challenges of being a principal and a coach?
You know, everybody used to always ask me, like, man, I can't believe how are you doing both? I don't know. I just believe that just working at a high level. So I'm the type of person that if I have a vision, I want to work to see that vision come into fruition. So even being a principal, you know, you got a vision on how you want the school to work. You got a vision on how you want the kids to behave. You got a vision on how you want the kids to achieve. You got a vision on how you want the teachers to work, get along, and help the students achieve. Well, it's the same thing with coaching. You got a vision on how you want to win, and you got to get people there. So to me, it was like being a head coach, being a principal, you're an educator, you're a teacher, and you're a motivator on how to get people to the next level. So it wasn't hard. It was just something that when I became an administrator, I let them know that I can do my job at a high level. Judge me on that. Yes, you're going to hear about me being the basketball coach. I can do that at a high level also, but I'm not going to let I'm not going to let one take away from the other. So I'm going to do both jobs at a high level. And I did that. So I was able to do it. And as long as my superintendent didn't have a problem with me coaching, you know, I was going to give him everything that I had. And, you know, the jobs that I had also, you know, I go there at night. So it was just working long hours. But again, I take you back to when I was a student. When you were a student in high school, you go to school 7 o'clock in the morning. You get done with school at 2:30. Then you go to practice.
Yep.
Then you got to eat. Then you got to take a shower. Then you got to do your homework. So I'm used to my days being 7 o'clock in the morning to about 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, you've been doing it forever.
I always did.
Yeah, I think being a principal actually and being a coach is like, I think it's great because you like you said, you can put like when I was in school, my coach was a gym teacher. One of them was a gym teacher, right? They have no connection with the principal really. So pretty much we can kind of do whatever we want to do. I hope he's not watching, but we can do whatever we want to do. And then basketball coach was a guidance counselor. But he represented, I believe, the various schools within the district.
Right. And
he would pop up for practice.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? So you had like your eye on all the kids. So you knew what was going on. You knew, you know, you didn't have to hit it first hand. I mean, second hand, you heard it first hand. I know you're not going to class. I know what's going on here. And you can kind of translate that better to the kids. So I think that's kind of like, that's a blessing to be able to do that.
And you know what? And the kids saw me in another light. Like they didn't just see me as that stuffy old principal. They saw me as someone that they could relate to.
Definitely.
And especially the athletes, like the athletes will come in my office. Like, who comes in the principal office just to chill out and talk?
Nobody.
You normally in trouble.
Right. Only when you're in trouble. So we were talking about whether it was sports, we was talking about family, we was talking about life, we was talking about what's going on in the world. So I had that connection as a principal because they saw me in a different light. They came to my games. I helped some of them get into to college. Some of them wanted me to recruit them. And I was like, nope, you ain't good enough. I could talk junk to them too also. Yep. You know, so it actually, man, sports is, I say, is the equalizer to everything. Look at what's going on in the world. But at the end of the day, if we had sports back, it would give everyone a sense of relief just to get away from reality for a second. And everyone can be a sports fan no matter what your color is.
Right.
Exactly.
That's what sports does. Sports brings people together.
Right. And no matter what the socioeconomic level too, because once you get on that playing field, everyone's equal. Yep. So it's like you got whoever put the work in is going to win. Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, so you got your shot that you've been waiting for, and I know you still at spot because I know how your mind works, and I know you're going, like, you're at Lincoln now. You want to be the Division II champion. I know the vibes already. Why'd you choose Lincoln University? Why was that a spot you felt comfortable?
Let me tell you something. I put in for the Lincoln job 3 times.
Okay. All right.
3 times. And the first time I put in for it, I actually got a phone interview. Second time I put in for it, I didn't get anything. And then this time, third time's a charm. And the thing that I like about Lincoln, like you said, I like being first. So Lincoln is the first historically Black college to grant degrees. So they were wanting that. So when I talked to the president, I said, we got something in common. I love being first. I hate being second. I love being first.
You know what, Corey? A couple of weeks ago, we had my boy on, who's the dean of students, Takeem at Johnson C. Smith.
Yeah.
And he schooled us on that too.
Yeah, definitely schooled us on.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
So I knew that. Also, just the fact that it's a HBCU and it's kind of up north.
Yeah.
That gives, like, my recruiting draw has always been New Jersey, New York, Philly. So now I'm close enough to get those New York, Jersey, Philly kids to come down to our campus right away.
Right.
And I'm not down south competing with all the North Carolina schools and the South Carolina schools. So I think where Lincoln is situated, it's a special place, and it's a special place for my recruiting base of the type of kids that I like to get. So again, I could have had the mindset that, you know what, Lincoln passed up on me 2 times. I'm not going through this again. Man, when it's your time, it's your time. So I just kept putting in for this position, man. And when I got the position, man, I'm telling you, man, I just felt like a weight, like finally. Like this has been a grind to get to this position.
So I'll say it hits a lot different when you apply for something and didn't get it and you finally get it. Like that feels better than almost just getting it on your first run.
Right.
In the long, not in the moment, but in the long run.
Right. And the thing about it also, man, like and I'm a person of faith, but when the AD told me, he was like, I just want you to know that it was 150 something people that put in for this position. Wow. And honestly, you wasn't even on my radar. He said, but when he looked at the resume and the committee was looking at, like, we need to give this guy a shot. So right there's some divineness right there. And then from not being on someone's radar and getting the job, again, I'm pointing to divineness again because I got the opportunity to kind of sell myself. And all the things that I went through with all the rejections, I think culminated at the right moment when I presented myself to Lincoln. They were like, you know what, this is the guy for us. So again, man, those coaches that have been rejected, don't take it personal, man. Just let it build you up. Don't feel sorry for yourself either. Don't be a victim. You're not a victim. You're getting prepared. You're getting stronger for every rejection to get you ready for your one moment. I
was really happy for you when I saw. I think I saw Ray post it and I hit you right away. Like, yo, I think we've had a couple conversations. Just like whenever we run into each other, or whatever the case is, and it's well overdue, man. I know you're gonna do a good job over there.
So Corey, quick question. So once you found out or you received the offer, what's the first thing you did when you received that offer from Lincoln?
Well, let me tell you something. Like this was a family journey. So
okay.
And like I give my wife a lot of credit also, because as soon as the St. Peter's season was over, my wife, and you know my wife, she went to Rutgers North also. She was like, all right, let's go. Let's get on your grind. What schools you putting in for?
You know what, man? You can't like to have your and the coaching grind is different. You know, I did it for a while too, and it's like for your wife to push you to like, all right, where are you gonna put in to be at the house the whole day? Unless she's trying to make sure she get a break from you, one or the other. But yeah, man, that's dope, and that support is real, man.
Yeah. And you know, the thing about it was, honestly, I was getting tired.
I'm sure.
This was the year, I think, where I was just like, all right, here we go again.
Right.
Putting in for these jobs again, putting in for 50, 60 jobs every summer, every spring. But she was like, no, this is the year you're going to get a job. Let's go. Get your resume right. Let's look at it. Let's revamp it.
That's love.
So she really pushed me, man. And so when I got the way that the interview process worked, it took like a month long, because first was the phone interview. And after the phone interview, you made it to the second round, you made it with a committee. That was like week and a half later. Then the AD kind of broke it down to that last 5. So then he was just having general phone conversation with you, just trying to get to know you. It wasn't even an interview. It was just, let me get to know who you are.
Right.
So he called me up on like a Saturday, and we talking all day Saturday. Mm-hmm. Then it got to the final round with the last 3 to 5 candidates. Then after that, again, he wanted to talk some more just to get to know you. Then I had to talk to the president. So you're talking about a month. And then
you got to get it right.
Yeah, my kids are like, Dad, did you get it? Did you get it? I'm like, no, not yet. They're like, what are they waiting for? So the AD, when he finally called me, he called me up, on a weekend. I'm on my phone. And, my kids, my wife right there, I'm like, I'm pointing. I'm like, pointing. So he was like, I got some good news and I got some bad news. And I was like, whenever someone tell you they got good news and bad news,
for real.
Hit me with that bad news first.
I said, I heard too much bad news. Give me the good news.
Oh, right. Okay.
Well, the good news is I just got new insurance and I saved a lot of money going to Geico. I was like, what?
They about to hang up on
no, man. You impressed us, man. He said, I've been thinking about you all weekend. I prayed about it. You the man. You're the one who I want. So I told him that, and my girls just started screaming. My wife started screaming. My girl started screaming, and I just had a feeling of like, thank you, God. Thank you, finally.
Did y'all film a video to dance? Cause I see the IG clip. The girls be getting it. I'm like, all right, you just play your position on the videos. I respect it.
I let them do the dancing, man. I just did a little Michael Jackson walkthrough. That's all.
Just throw the hat on.
Nah, that's definitely dope. So everybody listening, when our wives, our significant others, when they push you to be greater than you are, that's the ultimate. So we always love that. It's good to hear that,
Absolutely.
How was recruiting during COVID? Because you get this job. When did you get the job?
I got the job in April.
Yeah. So even more, how'd you maneuver that? How'd you get a class together?
Well, the good thing with Lincoln, they have a lot of returners. Okay. And they have some strong returners.
But you still got to sell those guys on staying too.
Absolutely. So they had a good group of returners. The first thing we did was, the athletic director set up a Zoom meeting.
Okay.
And actually on the interview process, 2 of the players were on the interview process as well.
Wow. Okay.
One who's an All-American, the other one's who's a senior. They had a lot of input on who was going to coach them. So I won them over in the interview process.
Okay.
After the interview process, we had the Zoom meeting, and I just spoke to them about who I was, what my expectation was. And, yes, my resume says that I won a lot, but what you don't see in that resume is the work that we put in. So when you see wins, cross out the IN and put work there.
Right.
That's what winning is about. It's about the work. And I told them, I said, if you guys want to work hard, we're going to set our goals and we're going to work towards our goals. I said, then I'm your coach. I said, but I'm not your coach if you don't want to defend. So I'm telling you guys right now, if you don't want to defend, that's the type of coach I am. I'll offer any of you guys your releases if you want. I said, but that's how we win. We defend and we work our behinds off in that gym to get you better. So I won them over, and then started picking my staff. And I can't let you guys know yet. Yeah. I should be officially out probably next week or two.
Okay.
But been working with those guys behind the scenes, and we just started pinpointing, watching a lot of film on guys that either they were already involved with, guys that I knew about, talking to a lot of connections that I knew, and then kind of actually the whole COVID situation for lower programs, lower Division I, Division II programs, it actually helped out because now you don't have so many guys going out on visits. So now if you are able to connect with a recruit, they're able to connect with you. They can't really visit, so now it's really about the personality. It's about, what you sell to that person. It made recruiting a little bit easier to tell you the truth. So we had a lot of guys to pick from, and getting to the point where we had to tell other coaches, like, listen, I'm done. And they were giving me good guys.
Right.
And then also all this time, you would be surprised how many people are watching you that I didn't realize was watching me. And I had people calling me from everywhere saying, listen, I got this kid for you. I know what you've done. I watched you at Essex. I watched you at Mills. I know what you guys did at St. Peter's. I know what you did at, when you was at Bloomfield. So all through the 22 years of coaching, all these connections, they just all came back. And man, I was getting like 5 kids apiece from like 50 coaches. I was like, I can't even watch and evaluate all these guys. So
people follow winners, man.
Yeah.
Even from a distance.
So it was a blessing, man. A lot of people, man, were happy for me that I didn't realize was rooting for me and was watching.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah.
Real. So as far as COVID and coming up, the fall's coming up too. So typically, when do you typically start practice in general? Like in any normal year?
Yeah. Well, as soon as you get back to campus, like you start your preseason. So you figure, like I always have a 6-week preseason program. So you figure the 4 weeks in September, the 2 weeks in October, and then right around October 15th time is the time when you start practice. So, you have your 8 hours a week, and you got your conditioning, you got your weightlifting in, you got your individuals, you got your practices in during that 6-week time period of your preseason. So it's a lot of work that 6-week time to really get their bodies and their minds mentally in shape, for the season.
Definitely. And I was thinking as far as like might be remote learning. So have they talked about that at the college?
Yes. So right now at Lincoln, the plan is for all the kids to come back.
Okay.
I'm sure some classes will be remote. Some classes will be kind of a hybrid. Some classes will be, you have to come in. I know that they put together an extensive plan to make sure that everyone is safe in terms of, COVID testing, in terms of social distancing. So that plan is in place. Some of the sports and different conferences now are pushing back.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, they're doing it in high school.
So some of the fall sports now have been canceled, but there's talks of having those fall sports being played in the spring.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Some basketball conferences have also kind of pushed things back also to January, but some haven't. Right now, we're status quo right now, so we're supposed to have
good
start in November. So as of right now, everything is status quo. So until we hear something different, but things change day to day. Just got to be prepared.
Absolutely.
But the one thing I will say, and again, coaches that are down about their season being pushed back, you got to understand, like we really didn't have last spring, this summer to really work guys out.
Right.
Even if they come to campus now, it's an opportunity, if your season is pushed back, to really get their bodies in shape the way that they should have been getting in shape in the summertime.
Yeah.
So you can prevent some injuries and get their skill set to the level where it should be.
Right.
So
knock some of that rust off.
Positive in it.
Right. So we're going to shift topics real quick. What are your thoughts on the MJ doc?
Listen, man, that was our era.
Yep.
And like, to me, MJ's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. That's how I see it, because that was my era and what I grew up in. Were there other great players? Yes. People want to talk LeBron, all that. Man, listen. MJ was driven. when he got to the championship, he did not lose the championship.
Facts.
He did not. And everyone wants to say, well, those teams weren't great. You tell me how great Steve Kerr really was. Will Purdue, Bill Cartwright,
like Wellington.
Like, he wasn't playing with great guys. Was Scottie Pippen an all-time great? Yes, but he was a role player. He was a role player, and he did some good things within his role. You know, Tony Kukoc, he was good. Dennis Rodman, he was an extreme talent at what he did with rebounding the ball. You know?
I called Rodman, and I got some flack for this. We talked about an episode. I called Rodman an elite Hall of Fame role player. Am I off base?
No, you're not off base. That's what he was.
Okay.
That's what he was. But he did his role better than anyone else in the league.
That's exactly what I said. I caught some flack for that, though. But all right, moving on.
Exactly.
You know, but that Jordan doc just showed how driven he was.
I watched it, and he was my GOAT prior to it. But like Jordan was just like to be that great, you just got to be like sick or messed up in the head too.
You got screw loose, definitely.
Because even like the thing with the rookie that there was a story about the rookie that said he gave Jordan 35 or he pat Jordan on the back at the end of the game, and then he said, I'm gonna get this kid tomorrow, and then come to find out the kid never even said anything to him.
Yeah.
I'm like, this dude is sick.
but motivate yourself.
Yeah, motivation. But most great players like that, again, have something a little off with them. With that. And that's why but that's why Jordan, Kobe, I say Magic, just because we're talking about coaching wise. That's why they can't be good coaches like that. Because they expect people to be like them. Like, hey, I can do this. Why can't you do that? Because I'm not you. Like, I'm not you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think, like, me and Derrick talk about all the time, like, Jordan's our go. I think if you're in a certain age bracket, that's your guy. Unless you're like a Knicks fan. And if you're a Knicks fan, you still say you like him, right?
I am a Knicks fan.
But it kills me when, like, now the new generation, right? And if I have like a little nephew or a little cousin, he go, I love Steph Curry. I agree. Steph Curry's great. Well, you have to compare him to Mike. That's his GOAT. He can have that. Okay, say LeBron. LeBron's great. We all know LeBron's great, but he doesn't have that Jordan. What Jordan had. The only person that had it close was Kobe. And everyone knew that, but it seems like once Kobe passed, I think right before he passed, I started, because Derrick, back in the day, I was not a Kobe fan.
Yeah, Kobe's my guy. Kobe's my guy.
I didn't like Kobe either, because he got rid of Shaq. Shaq.
Yeah, I love Kobe Bryant.
Look, I hated Kobe so bad when I was younger, because when he went to slam dunk contest, I remember this girl I know, she was like, you see that young kid? I'm like, I don't care about him, because he's like a year older than me. I'm like, he's trying to be like Mike. He's chewing his gum like Mike. He's holding his shorts like Mike. He's walking like Mike, and I couldn't stand it. So as I got older, I said, you know what? That's like flattery. When someone's confident all that stuff about you, and Derrick knows, us knowing each other, I'm like, I can't stand that dude. Nope. T-Mac's better. T-Mac's better. Ray Allen's better. Everybody's better, right? Now,
shot.
Listen, I know I was wrong. At the end of his career, after he tore his Achilles, I started saying, damn, like, we're seeing something real great. And I'm like, he might not be around too much longer playing. I'm like, so let me start really watching his game and really start respecting it more and more and more. I'm like, this guy's unbelievable. He reminds me of Mike too much. And then once he retired and let people into his life a little bit more, I think he was so guarded that you didn't know him. So you're like, you know what? All I know is what I see on SportsCenter. You told on Shaq, I don't like you. Like, that's all. That's all I know about. But I think with his unfortunate early demise, I think people are now seeing like this dude, like he was the second coming of Mike. Like he was his roses now. He was different. So I hate that we're seeing it because he's not here anymore. Right. I'm glad people are really giving him his just due. Now.
The thing with Kobe is like he got success at such a young age.
Yeah.
And his mindset was, I'm the greatest in the world. But the world saw you with Shaq. So we kind of started not to like Kobe because he was giving himself credit already that we weren't realizing the greatness that we were seeing at that young age. Definitely. I started appreciating Kobe a little bit better when Shaq left, and I saw Kobe kind of carrying those teams, those Laker teams to championship. I'm like, I never thought that the Lakers would win a championship once they got rid of Shaq. Yeah. So Kobe got my respect after he won those championships after Shaq. And then I started saying, all right, this guy is something special. but I think it was overshadowed by Shaq when he won those first 3.
And plus, he's a different type of dude. Like, he wasn't the typical, like, he spoke Italian, right? All this other stuff. I'm not used to seeing that. Like, I want to see, like, a dude that looks like me, but, like, acts like me. He acted totally different than everyone else. So people, like, ostracized him from the start.
Mm-hmm. And thought he was a weirdo for being smart.
A weirdo for being smart, right? Go figure. You're smart, you're a weirdo, right? People think. Right. But it's sad, but he's just such a great talent, man. But definitely.
Yeah, rest in peace for sure. So Corey, we're gonna get off the topic again. What are you listening to? What are you watching? What are you watching on TV?
In his quarantine life right now.
Well, I tell you what, during the original quarantine, something that I never thought that I would watch, but my wife got me to watch it, was Game of Thrones.
Ooh, Game of Thrones, it's the truth.
My favorite shows.
And you know, like when it first came out, I watched like the first episode. I was like, I can't get into this.
I'm the same thing. Like I normally, these ghouls and goblins and all, but when you get into it, like, it's like next level thinking, man. It's crazy.
It was, because so my wife was like, all right, let's just watch like the first 2 or 3 episodes.
Yep.
After I got to episode 3, I was hooked.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
We watched like 8 seasons in like 3 weeks.
And that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
And the thing with Game of Thrones, like, you can't watch Game of Thrones like on your phone. Like, you could watch some shows and keep up. Like, somebody might whisper something and something happened at the end, you'll understand what happened. Right. Like, they whispered that 5 episodes ago.
Yeah.
So like,
and it's just, you know what? It's like a competitiveness, like trying to conquer something.
Yep.
So I think that part of me was that's the part that it grabbed me. Like, okay, who's gonna conquer which kingdom? Who's gonna win? So it was that competitiveness. And then other than that, I'm watching a bunch of film. You know, I'm watching Lincoln's team on how they play certain things that, you know, like I'm trying to learn the players. I'm watching film of the teams in the CIAA. You know, through Synergy, you can watch everything. You know, so I'm watching games of old St. Peter's games, seeing some of the things that we did that I thought was successful. You know, then I'll watch a Kansas game. I'll watch a Michigan State game. I'll watch a Rutgers game. I'll watch a Seton Hall game. Like, all these things on Synergy that I'm trying to do, just again to try to perfect my craft and try to put my team in the best position to win right away.
Right. And how about musically? What are you listening to?
Listen, you always gonna hear me listening to Jay-Z, Biggie. You know, you know, when I'm in the car with my daughters, they make me put on a radio, and I don't even know.
Something pop up. Little Uzi might pop up. Little somebody,
little somebody.
Little somebody, right?
Our generation was the Biggies. The big pun.
Everybody small.
Yeah, even if they aren't little.
Right.
All right, Corey. We at the end of our show, we wrap up with like what we call a rapid fire. So it's like, we'll give you 2 choices. You pick one. They're usually pretty difficult, but you know, we keep it fun. Go with the first answer that comes to your mind. All right.
Got you.
All right. First one, and I'm gonna dig in a little bit because you're a 49ers fan, right?
Relax.
What's the tougher loss in the Super Bowl? The Ravens loss or the loss to the Chiefs?
That's messed up, man. But yeah, that loss to the Chiefs was heartbreaking, man.
That's got to be,
I was talking junk too, and I had the Super Bowl party in my house. My boys left the house before the 4th quarter. By the time they got home, they was calling me up. I didn't want to answer my phone.
He didn't even invite me to his party. He didn't want no bad energy over there.
I said I want no bad energy at my house. No bad energy. I need a good energy.
I'd have been hating the whole time.
I know. I need that. I need that on my shoulder. I remember watching that game. I'm sitting there watching it.
That one was tough.
And I remember my boy had his son over here, and I was like, "Yo, we about to win the bowl." I grabbed him on his head, gave him a little shake of the head, right? I said, "This is a wrap." And my boy said, "Don't say that." I said, "It's a wrap. We're up by 10 with like 13 minutes left. I'm about to go wash these dishes, right?" So I left. Everybody, I started hearing everybody go, "Oh!" I'm like, "Whoa, what's going on?" I came back down. I said, "Here we go." I just walked. I didn't watch the rest of the. I didn't watch like the last I stopped watching, and when Jimmy missed that pass, I just walked back upstairs and said, "I'm good."
Yeah.
All right. So another 49er question. Now, who's your favorite running back, Roger Craig or Frank Gore?
Ooh. That's
Yeah.
tough.
That's how we do it on the rapid fire. See,
That's tough. I got to go with Roger Craig. He got the Super Bowls.
he got the chips. Yeah,
High knees. Got the high knees in the Super Bowls.
yeah.
Here we go. Here we go.
All right, I got another toughest one. This is gonna be like picking out of kids. What's your biggest win as a coach?
Ooh. Biggest win? That's a tough one. I had some good ones, but I think that that Final Four win with Essex in 2014, not the Final Four, actually the Elite Eight. We beat DMAC, and DMAC was really favored to go far in that tournament. So we weren't favored to even be in that game.
Right.
And and Essex didn't have the history in the national tournament of getting to a Final Four or a national championship. So being DMAC in that Elite Eight game, I think we beat them by 2 or 4. And it came down to us having to get a stop, like the way that I would draw it up. We up by 2, we get this stop, we win.
Right.
And we got the stops and got us to the Final Four, which propelled us to the national championship game.
All right, well, that's fair to say.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. Steve Nash or John Stockton?
John Stockton.
Ooh, that was quick. All right.
John Stockton.
All right, I got a last one. Jay-Z or Biggie?
My heart gonna say Biggie. I wish he was still alive because Jay-Z has a longevity.
Yeah, the body of work is just different.
Yeah, but Biggie was just like an anomaly. He just came, he hit the scene, and it was just like boom. He took over the whole East Coast. Like I don't think that we've ever seen a rapper have that much influence the way him and Tupac had.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. You're
Right.
right.
So I got to go with Biggie with just his power and his influence that he had.
Funny, quick Biggie story. I just missed Biggie one day. I was probably like 13, 14 years old. He just dropped Ready to Die, and I was in Harlem, and I went out there. I'm like, why is this whole crowd? I went to VIM in Harlem, and I'm like, Jimmy Jazz. I'm like, why is this whole crowd moving the other way? And I walked in. Dude was like, yo, you just missed Big. I'm like, what? so if you look at like an old video, you see Biggie walking down the street. He has like on like a blue, like some jeans shorts, something like that. It was that day. He was out there like Harlem Picnic or Harlem something that he was performing. I missed him. I was like, damn. Yeah. All right. Now, to just watch Game of Thrones, this is an open-ended one. So I don't want to put you against anybody, but who's your favorite character out of that show?
Come on, see, pick the right person. It's only one right answer.
There's a lot of people in there.
Nah, that's one right answer. He got it.
You know what? In the first episode, the father got killed. Man, it just broke my heart. I almost stopped. I almost just wanted to not watch it no more because I'm like, where are we going now? Like he was the hero, so the Stark. He was my favorite, and he was only in the first season.
But it's funny. Ned Stark, his legacy with was popped up the whole show though.
Right. Yeah, his legacy was the show.
It was the show. It was him.
Yeah. I thought for sure you were going Arya. Is she in the mix?
Huh?
She in the mix?
No, either that or his son that he took in that really wasn't his son.
Jon Snow.
Jon Snow. Okay.
So it was between those two. Because you know what? I felt like they was true to who they were. They were honorable people. And even though that sometimes things went against the grain, they was willing to put their life on the line with what they believed in.
Definitely, that's a great answer. Yeah. Arya, she's switching up and changing to different people and stuff. Man.
I know.
I just thought she was dope because she was brave. She never backed down from anybody, so I liked her character.
Listen, she a survivor.
Oh, absolutely.
If nothing you can get from her, she a survivor.
Yeah, she know how to adapt to all situations and get it done for sure.
Yeah.
So, Corey, man, pleasure to have you, man. This was fun.
Definitely, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Man. You wanna share anything? I don't know if you want to share your social media, share a website, whatever, or share whatever you're doing.
I just want to share when things get back to normal, man, come check out the Lincoln Experience. I think that there's going to be a lot of things that people are going to be excited about. There's a new movement with the whole HBCU thing. So, you know, we're going to break that stigma of, you know, HBCU basketball is a low level. It's not. It's high level. And we're going to show how high level it is, because my mindset is always going to be to compete at the national level.
Right.
Always compare to those guys there. You know, so come check out Lincoln. When we get those homecomings, come to homecoming. It's not far.
It's not right. Ain't that far?
I'm having a good time.
All right, so I want to thank everyone for listening. You can check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube at The Great Minds Podcast, Twitter at The Great Minds P1. Coach Lowery, pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
And Great Minds Podcast. Thank you for checking it out. Peace.
Peace.